I am very excited about our host this morning. Over to you. Renee's been a coach since January, and after chatting to her a few times, I just understood she is such a great wellness coach and so supporting to her clients. So I'm really excited to hear from her. So over to you, Renee.
Thank you, Elsa. Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful Monday morning.
Please say hi, show your faces if you can, if you're not in bed.
Even if you're in bed, it's a safe space. Gracie, Tertia, and Sophia, and Teresa, and Miriam, I think it's you. Morning,
hello.
So I'm going to go into it. I'm going to share a few slides with you, and then we're going to do a 3-minute experiment or 2 minutes or so. Don't worry, there won't be any chemicals involved. And then we're going to engage a bit before we start our day. So the topic is wellness and mindset, and how you can apply a change in mindset or mindfulness in everything, in every single part of your life. So whether it is choosing healthy food or choosing one thought over the other, or just being able to manage yourself and manage the day better. So oftentimes on Mondays, we feel a bit apprehensive because we have this whole week ahead and we have these great expectations of ourselves and there's so much to do. And we tend to get overwhelmed and anxious, and that trips us up for everything else that we had planned for the day, especially food choices. So I'm going to share screen and then I'm going to go into it, and then I'll stop sharing screen so that we can see each other again. Okay. So let's do this. Can you all see the presentation? Perfect. Okay, so my name is Renee September. I'm 43 years old. I'm a mom to 3 kids. I've been a wellness coach, certified wellness and life coach for 15 years. I have a background in psychology and gender studies. And I'm currently doing Herbalife full-time, which I love. And I'm homeschooling my 17-year-old daughter. And thank God I'm not homeschooling my twins that are 8 years old, because I think that would have been too much. And yeah, so I love fitness and wellness and everything, but we are only human. So my topic today, I think, is going to be applicable to all of us. So health, when people say health and wellness, what do they mean? Health is categorized as your physical state, the state that your body is in. So whether it is the absence or the presence of illness is how they categorize health. But wellness is a state of being. So it was a buzzword quite a few years ago and people didn't understand it. But wellness is taking the body, mind, and soul and everything else that covers into one consideration. That's why it's so important for you to be healthy in every aspect, especially with your food choices. So we tend, especially as women or as parents, men and women, we tend to give too much of ourselves to others and we leave whatever is left over for ourselves, when you have to give yourself your best first in order to be able to pour out to others. So you have to love yourself enough to live a healthy lifestyle. And that is not just simply about food and your food choices. It is also about where you place your value as a person. So for myself, I've learned quite a few years ago that I have to place my value in my food choices, but also in what feelings I allow myself to feel, what thoughts I allow myself to think, and what actions I allow myself to take. So we often think that we have no control of our thoughts and feelings, but we do. So we cannot become what we need to become by remaining who we are. The key to having more control over our behavior and our thought patterns and the way we view things is about mindfulness. So mindfulness and meditation goes hand in hand. But to be honest, I am not one to meditate very often. When I meditate in prayer, because that for me is an active meditation. I cannot clear my mind because my mind is normally too busy. And I think all of us can relate to that. There's always a to-do list going off somewhere. So mindfulness is simply bringing yourself back to the present moment. So where your body is at. Oftentimes we are stressing about the past, or we can't let go of what happened in the past, or we are being anxious about what we still have to do in the future, when all we have control over is the present moment, and that's where we should be. So you can plan for the future and you can process the past, but where the difference is, where you make the changes where you are presently. Does that make sense? Thumbs up? So a key way to bring yourself to the present moment is to take a deep breath. So we are going to do what we call a 3-minute breathing space, and there's a wonderful man by the name of Jon Kabat-Zinn who wrote a book on mindfulness, and it's an awesome book. I suggest you Google it. You can even just Google the 3-minute breathing space. So it is a tool for us to use just to bring ourselves back into the present moment. And if you adapt it slightly, like what I'm going to do with you now, you can do it anywhere. You can do it while you are standing in the queue at the shopping, while you are shopping. And thank God for social distancing now. You can actually have the space to take a moment and check in with yourself. You can do it while you are driving. You can do it just before a meeting. And I often do this just before I go into a meeting like this, or before my prayer time in the morning. So I want you all please to join me. So all you have to do is sit more comfortably, or whether you're sitting in bed or whether you're sitting at your desk or at your couch, just sit comfortably and take a deep breath in. So in by the nose, out by the mouth. And feel your abdomen actually extend as you breathe in. We are always taught to keep our core in, but when we breathe, we should actually feel movement where our core is, and you breathe out. And I want you to take a minute, and we're going to do a 3-minute breathing space, which is essentially a quick body scan. So I want you to feel how your face feels at the moment while you are breathing. We often carry tension in our jawline, or we scowl here. So it's not about changing it or judging ourselves. It's just about accepting that maybe you are feeling a bit tense, maybe you do bite on your jaw, and then turning that awareness into, why am I doing it? So then I want us to move on to our necks and shoulders. And oftentimes we hunch up at our desks, or when we are driving, we hunch up, or when we are feeling stressed, we hunch our shoulders. And it is a position of defense. So whether it is a defense against our thoughts or the external factors where we are, we can change that simply by straightening up and taking a deep breath. I want us to move down now to our chest and our tummies. So where we often feel emotions, whether it is good emotions or very strong emotions like fear and anxiety, we often feel it in our chests or in our tummies, or both. When you fall in love as well, you get those lekker butterflies in your tummy, or when you're excited about something. So you often feel it in your chest or in your tummy, and that's basically where humans feel their emotions on a physical level most of the time. So I want you just to feel, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling neutral? Are you feeling excited? Are you curious? So just to think, where am I now in this moment? And then we move down to our hips, our thighs, our knees, our lower legs, and our feet, and feel where there is tightness or tension, or even where you are feeling relaxed. Okay, so we know where the body is positioned at. So now that we know where the body is positioned at, where's your mind positioned? Do you feel more present in the moment now that you've brought your mind back to your body? Do you feel that you are more aware of what is happening within your body, within your mind space? Just take a few seconds to think about that. So I'm going to stop share and I'm going to switch back to my face. So that was a very quick exercise to center us and to bring us back into the moment. And I encourage you to go onto YouTube or Google the 3-minute breathing space and to do this often and adapt it to when you are feeling uncentered or uneasy or you have to focus very quickly. So oftentimes we struggle to make good food choices. Today we are starting on various challenges. One, I'm doing the 3-day cleanse now because I need it. But for people who tend to be anxious or tend to be apprehensive, or when we struggle to make good food choices, it essentially is where we place our value. So we are in this meeting together. Why? Because healthy lifestyles brought us together as a group. So we made the decision to engage in a healthy lifestyle already. So the decision was made. So it needs to be supported by daily choices. And oftentimes it is moment by moment. So when you are feeling stressed and you are not in touch with how you are feeling and what you are thinking, we tend to go for that extra cup of coffee or that chocolate bar, or we think, okay, I can just cheat once, it's fine, I will be okay. And then we tend to feel guilty about what we just did. So I encourage you to use that technique that we just used now and try to practice it often, to check in with yourself and then to mindfully choose a positive thought over the thought that you are currently feeling. So when you have to make a choice between a bar 1 and a protein bar, place your value on your health. Whether you have to choose about how you are going to respond to a difficult situation, place your value on your mental health. Whether you choose, whether you have to choose whether you're going to work out now as you plan to or not, place the value on your physical health. So I just wanted to check in with the group if that makes sense, if that was helpful, if there's anything that came up for you. If we can open our mics and our cameras.
Thanks, Renee. It was good.
Thank you, Renee. I think that breathing is so great to be, you know, to bring you in the moment. I think that was very special, and definitely something I will. It does relax you also, so I think that's great. Thank you.
Are there any questions? I have a story I want to share if there's no questions. I thought of it this morning and it made me giggle. So if there's no questions, so
I don't have a question.
Sure. Hi.
Hello. I'm in my car driving, and yeah. So this helps me a lot now because whenever you go or drive on a Monday, I must take my kids to Stellenbosch, and yeah, you stress and the traffic and everything. So yeah, thanks for that. I was breathing away, and yeah, the time in the car went quickly, and I'm almost home. So yeah, and not stressed. Thanks.
I'm so happy to hear that. Awesome, Tertia. Awesome. So that's a perfect example, Tertia, that Tertia brought up now. So when you are in traffic and you're having cars swerve in front of you and everybody is driving nuts, you have a choice to approach that situation with what can you really do about it. So I'm not going to raise my blood pressure by getting angry. I'm just going to drive safer so that I can protect myself. And you choose not to take it with you where you go to your next space. So whether you are continuing to go to work or you're returning home, you can choose to leave those negative emotions behind because somebody swerved in front of you, somebody didn't obey the traffic laws, and you can just let it go and breathe it out and then choose the next moment and to be present in the next moment. Are there any
Renee, I want to ask one question. I know that you have coached people that's really big, you know, and that has to make serious lifestyle changes. And, you know, that you have found a way to help them when they are now ready to eat that lunch bar instead of the Herbalife bar, or they've already just eaten it. And they're now feeling guilty and shameful, and you know, they want to beat themselves up and they want to and just want to give up. Like sometimes you know, we have somebody that starts their first week and they don't seem to get results, and they want to give up. They like, this is not working for me. And what is your advice to somebody like that?
That's an awesome question, Elsa, and it's something that I do often with myself, not just when it comes to eating, but to everything when life just gets overwhelming. And I ask the question about where do you place your purpose and your value? So especially if you have someone who's morbidly obese and has comorbidities, and this person is really vulnerable and they need your help as a wellness coach, the first question I ask them is, when they're starting on the journey, is I do an exercise with them and take a moment when everything in your life is taken away, your car, your house, your job, everything else. Think about that. So create that empty space and then think about what means the most to you. Many people say their children, many people say their parents, and many people will say their partners. So it's either, so I only let them choose one thing. So what is the most important for you? And then I bring it back to the self and I tell them, so if your children are for me, it's my children. So if your children is the most important thing to you in the world, how important are you to make sure that they are okay? So what that translates to is you need to practice self-care. You need to love yourself by eating healthier. You need to love yourself more by not judging yourself for eating that lunch bar over the protein bar, or for eating that cake yesterday. It's in the past. You have another opportunity now, this moment, to create a better future. So oftentimes our decisions are value-based, and it is about where we place the value. And what I do with my clients and myself and my kids is, where do you place the value? And that motivates your decision and helps you to change the behavior. Does that answer your question?
That is, sorry, that is really, really great. So I know we had some other clip that was also saying that it's really about caring about yourself and adding value to that and attaching emotion. Okay, this was amazing. You wanted to do something more if there wasn't questions. Anybody that wants to give a tip, guys, this is about participation. We are a group of friends. We want to share. We want to support her in the morning. So even if you want to give us a tip or something that works for you or a question, please ask.
Hi, Elsa. I just want to thank you. I also had to brief that 3 minutes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
Bye. You're welcome, Marty. So if there's nobody else, I just want to share a story, which has a lot of value in it, but it's quite entertaining, if it's okay. Do we have time for a quick story? So when I just started out in my career, I worked for an NGO that used ecotherapy to deal with traumatized youth and youth at risk in the Stellenbosch area. And it was the most growth I went through in my life. And we would often go into the mountains and camp in the mountains for 4 days at a time. And I am a morning person. So I am my best in the morning, and then from 2 o'clock, my communication drops. That's just who I am. It's not that I'm grumpy, but by 8 o'clock, I'm grumpy. But I can get up 4 o'clock in the morning and I can function. But what I'm still struggling with to this day is getting cold. So you can imagine when you're on a camp in the mountains, winter, summer, the mornings are cold. So as the main facilitator, I knew that my weak point was managing the cold and being able to manage a group of 30 youth at the time, including the staff. So I had a role created called the fire starter. And there was this woman called Emmy, her name is Emma Renscher, Emmy, and she would be my fire starter in the morning. So she would be the one to go and wake up everybody, get us started, get us back into the hall, have breakfast, get the mood going. And her tool to use was everything that you are feeling as a discomfort, she would say is lekker. So she would say, dis lekker koud nie. Dis lekker om die berge te wees so koud in die oggend. It's so lekker to take this cold shower. It's so lekker to be hiking 20 kilometers. And she would be, it's so lekker to have this jungle oats without sugar because we forgot the sugar. So she would turn every bad discomfort into a mindset where you are saying it's lekker because I'm tougher than the situation at the moment. So I want us to encourage, or I want to encourage all of us to think, and I often think back to that and I think how that woman turned the life around. For the sake of time, I won't share too much on that, but she took every discomfort. So the discomfort today may be that there's so much to do, but then turn it into, it's lekker that I have the privilege to do so much. Because there are people who can't walk around, there are people who can't do the things that we are doing. So it's lekker to have the privilege to be able to do so many things. It's lekker to have the privilege to be a parent of 3 kids. It's lekker, Tertia, to be able to drive back home after dropping your daughters in Stellenbosch. It's lekker to be a wellness coach and to be able to help people to live a healthy lifestyle. So that is me. Everybody have a blessed day.
Woohoo, Renee! It was super lekker. Thank you so much. Everything's going to be great and lekker today, especially eating only fruit and having spinach smoothies. Okay, everybody, thank you. This was very, very special, Renee. And I hope you all have a super lekker day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.